Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a case that completely changed the way we think about the products we buy and use every day. It's a story that starts with a simple headache and ends in a nationwide panic. This is the chilling story of the 1982 Chicago Tylenol Murders. Picture it, September 29th, 1982, in a suburb of Chicago. A 12-year-old girl named Mary Kellerman wakes up with a cold. Her parents give her an extra-strength Tylenol, a trusted household staple, and she goes back to bed. But moments later, Mary collapses on the bathroom floor and tragically dies. Later that same morning, a 27-year-old postal worker named Adam Janus also takes a Tylenol for a headache and dies suddenly. Then his brother and sister-in-law, Stanley and Teresa Janus, rush to his home to mourn, and they too take Tylenol from the same bottle. Within hours, they are both gone. In just a few days, the death toll climbs to 7 people, all in the Chicago metropolitan area. The victims were all different ages, from different walks of life, but they all had one terrifying thing in common. They had taken extra-strength Tylenol shortly before their deaths. Investigators were baffled. How could a common, over-the-counter pain reliever be causing these sudden, fatal events? The mystery began to unravel when 2 off-duty firefighters, Philip Capitelli and Richard Keyworth, started connecting the dots. They noticed the pattern of Tylenol use among the victims and raised the alarm. Their hunch was confirmed when medical examiners tested the Tylenol capsules from the victims' homes. Inside, they found a lethal dose of potassium cyanide, a fast-acting poison that can be fatal with just a tiny amount. The capsules had been opened, the original Tylenol powder removed and replaced with cyanide, before being carefully put back together and placed on store shelves. Panic swept across the nation. Tylenol, which was the #1 pain reliever in America at the time, was immediately pulled from shelves. Manufacturer Johnson & Johnson issued a massive recall of over 31 million bottles, a decision that cost them over $100 million. Public service announcements blared from every TV and radio station, warning people not to take Tylenol in any form. People went through their medicine cabinets, terrified of what they might find. The trust between consumers and brands was completely shattered. The big question was, who would do something so monstrous and why? The investigation became one of the largest in U.S. history. The leading theory was that someone was buying the bottles from various stores, lacing them with cyanide at home, and then returning them to the shelves for unsuspecting customers to purchase. This product tampering was a new and horrifying form of crime. The police had a monumental task ahead of them. They had to trace the tampered bottles back to their original stores and try to find any link, any witness, any clue that could lead them to the perpetrator. The investigation soon focused on a man named James Lewis. Now, Lewis didn't fit the profile of a random killer. Instead, he sent an extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson, demanding $1 million to stop the killing. It seemed like a major break in the case. Lewis was eventually tracked down in New York City and arrested. However, while he was convicted of extortion and spent 13 years in prison, authorities could never find any physical evidence linking him directly to the poisonings themselves. He provided detailed diagrams of how the tampering could have been done, but he always maintained that he was only trying to take advantage of the crisis, not that he was the one who actually did it. To this day, he has never been charged with the murders. Over the years, several other suspects have been investigated. One was Roger Arnold, a dock worker, who had a grudge against a bar owner whose wife died from a tampered Tylenol bottle. He was questioned, but never charged. Another person of interest was a man named Ted Kaczynski, who you might know as the Unabomber. His early crimes took place in the Chicago area around the same time, and his family even reported their suspicions to the FBI in 1994, noting that his signature involved targeting innocent, random people, but again, no concrete evidence ever tied him to the Tylenol case. So, where does that leave us? Decades later, the Chicago Tylenol murders remain officially unsolved. No one has ever been held responsible for the 7 lives that were lost. The killer or killers got away with it. And it's a chilling thought that the person responsible could have lived a normal life, their dark secret buried forever. But the legacy of this case is everywhere. If you've ever struggled to open a medicine bottle, you have the Tylenol Murders to thank for that. This event sparked a revolution in product safety. Johnson & Johnson, in a move that's now a textbook example of crisis management, came back with new triple-sealed, tamper-resistant packaging. You know the kind. A glued box, a plastic seal over the cap, and a foil seal over the mouth of the bottle. This became the industry standard. Furthermore, the crime of product tampering was made a federal offense. The case serves as a dark reminder of how vulnerable we can be and how trust, once broken, is incredibly hard to rebuild. It's a story of tragedy, of a mystery that endures, and of an industry that was forced to change for the better to protect us all. The 7 victims, Mary Kellerman, Adam Janus, Stanley Janus, Teresa Janus, Mary Reiner, Mary McFarland and Paula Prince, are remembered not just for the way they died, but for the profound impact their deaths had on the safety and security of our everyday lives. What do you guys think? Do you believe James Lewis was more involved than he let on? Or was the real killer someone else who just vanished without a trace? Let me know your theories down in the comments below. It's a fascinating and sobering case to discuss. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into historical mysteries. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.